China, the country that makes your phone, your sneakers, your TV, and apparently, your next car. For years, people laughed at Chinese vehicles. And honestly, some of that laughter was deserved. But that was then. Today, we're looking at 3 sedans that represent a very different China. One that's been quietly studying the competition, taking notes, and coming back with something to prove. 3 cars, 3 brands, one question nobody wants to answer out loud. Are they actually good enough to compete with the established names? Japanese reliability, German engineering, Korean value. Those are the benchmarks everyone knows. So where do these Chinese contenders stand? Today, we find out. No fluff, no marketing speak, no sponsored nonsense. Just the cars, the numbers, and the honest truth. Buckle up, this goes fast. First up, the Changan UNI-V. And yes, before you ask, Uni stands for something in Chinese marketing, but honestly, it just sounds cool, and that's probably the whole point. Changan is one of China's oldest automakers, founded back in 1862 as a weapons manufacturer. Yeah, you heard that right, and they've been making cars since the 1990s. The Uni series is their attempt at something bold, something that doesn't look like a rebadged economy box. And with the UNI-V, they might have actually pulled it off. Look at this thing, frameless doors. A fastback roofline that flows all the way to the back. A grille that looks like it wants to fight somebody at a stoplight. The front end is aggressive, with slim LED daytime running lights that stretch across the hood like angry eyebrows. The side profile is clean, almost coupe-like, with a sharp character line running from front to rear. And the back? A full-width LED light bar connects the taillights in a way that looks genuinely premium, not budget. Changan did not come here to be boring, and they succeeded on the outside at least. Inside, you get a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster and a 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen, mounted side by side in a seamless dual-screen setup, like a cockpit. The vibe is definitely sporty, maybe a little try-hard sporty. There's a lot going on visually, but hey, at least they tried. The steering wheel is flat-bottomed, sporty in shape, with controls that are actually logically placed. Imagine that. Seats are supportive with decent bolstering, good for longer drives, good for corners. Materials are a mixed bag. Some nice, soft-touch surfaces on the dashboard, some textured plastic lower down that reminds you exactly what you paid for. And what did you pay? The UNI-V starts around $16,000 in markets where it's available. For a car that looks like this on the outside, that price is genuinely hard to argue with. Under the hood lives a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing between 138 and 188 horsepower depending on the trim level you choose. That's paired with a 7-speed wet dual-clutch transmission. Wet meaning it runs in oil, which generally means better durability and heat management compared to a dry DCT. Is it fast? No. Is it fast enough to merge onto a highway without praying? Yes. Does it make a glorious exhaust note that sends chills down your spine? Absolutely not. But the chassis tuning is surprisingly composed. The suspension has been set up with some actual effort. It handles corners with more confidence than you'd expect from a car in this price range, and it doesn't wallow around on the highway like it's unsure of itself. The UNI-V is Changan saying loudly and clearly, we want a piece of the sporty, compact sedan market. And honestly, for the price, for the design, for the driving dynamics, they've earned a seat at the table. Not the head of the table, but a real seat, with a real napkin and everything. Next, Chery Arrizo 8.
Now, Chery has been around since 1997, which in Chinese car brand years is basically ancient history. They've had their ups and downs, some truly questionable cars in the early 2000s, some brave attempts that didn't quite land, but they've been learning, and the Arrizo 8 is the result of all that learning. This is their flagship sedan, their statement piece, their look how far we've come and please take us seriously car. And you know what? It's pretty convincing. This is the biggest car in our lineup today. We're talking near mid-size territory. 4.9 meters long, with a wheelbase that gives rear passengers genuine legroom rather than the polite suggestion of legroom. If the UNI-V is a sports coupe wannabe that wants to impress you at a traffic light, the Arrizo 8 is the guy who shows up to the business meeting in a tailored suit while everyone else is in hoodies. Different energy, different audience.
The exterior design is mature and restrained. Sculpted flanks, a wide front fascia, and chrome accents used tastefully rather than sprayed on everything like some kind of decorative disease. It looks like a car that costs more than it does, which is kind of the whole compliment in this segment. Inside, Chery goes full premium ambitions. Nappa leather is available on higher trims. There's a panoramic sunroof that makes the cabin feel genuinely airy. Ambient lighting comes in 64 colors, because apparently 63 just wasn't enough. Someone in the design meeting said, "One more," and nobody stopped them. The seats are genuinely comfortable, well cushioned for long drives, with good lumbar support. The cabin is impressively quiet at highway speeds. Chery clearly put some effort into sound insulation, and it shows. Build quality feels a noticeable notch above what Chery was producing just 5 years ago. Panel gaps are tighter. Materials feel more consistent. It's not perfect, but the direction is clearly upward. This is a car for the person who wants to feel successful without spending Camry or Accord money. And in markets where price sensitivity is real, that positioning makes a lot of sense. Power comes from a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, developing 197 horsepower, matched with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. This engine is smooth and pulls well in the mid-range where you actually use it day to day. It's not trying to be a performance car. It wants to be comfortable, quiet, confident, and dignified on the road. And it mostly succeeds. Mostly. The dual-clutch gearbox can be a little hesitant and jerky in slow, stop-and-go city traffic, which is a known characteristic of DCT transmissions in general. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's worth knowing before you buy. Pricing lands somewhere between $18,000 and $24,000, depending on your market and trim selection. For the space, the features, the refinement level, and the engine size you're getting, that's honestly competitive. Put it next to a comparably equipped Japanese midsizer, and the price difference will make you think twice. The Arrizo 8 is Chery's strongest argument yet, that Chinese brands can build a proper, competitive family sedan. Is it flawless? No. But is it convincing? Yes. Genuinely, surprisingly, yes. And now for our third contender, the Geely Emgrand. Because if we're talking Chinese sedans, and we're not including Geely, we're not really having an honest conversation about Chinese sedans. Here's some context, because Geely deserves it. This is the company that bought Volvo cars from Ford back in 2010, and instead of running it into the ground like cynics predicted, they actually made Volvo better. They have a significant stake in Mercedes-Benz. They own Lotus. They created Lynk & Co., and they're behind Polestar. Geely is not a small player pretending to be big. They are genuinely one of the most ambitious automotive groups on the planet.
And the Emgrand is their mass-market everyday sedan, the one that sells in enormous volumes across Asia, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East. Design-wise, the Emgrand is the most restrained car in today's comparison. No aggressive grille trying to intimidate pedestrians. No fastback drama. No styling that needs explaining. Just clean, European-influenced lines with a sensible silhouette that looks respectable everywhere and offensive nowhere. Is it exciting? No. Does it need to be? Also no, because the Emgrand's entire job is to be a reliable, rational, well-rounded car that your uncle in Almaty, your cousin in Dubai, and your neighbor in almost any city on Earth can get behind. The interior continues that theme of measured, practical design. The layout is logical. A 10.25-inch infotainment screen sits in the center. But unlike some competitors who went touchscreen only and forgot that humans exist, the Emgrand keeps physical climate control buttons. Real buttons that you can press without looking, without navigating 3 menu levels, without accidentally turning on the seat heater when you wanted the fan. It sounds like a small thing until you've driven a car without them. Then it sounds like genius. Materials are honest. Nothing here is pretending to be something it isn't. You won't find faux carbon fiber trim or shiny plastic designed to look like metal. What you get is a clean, well-assembled cabin that wears its economy car badge without shame. The engine is a 1.5-liter turbocharged unit, producing around 147 horsepower, offered with either a continuously variable transmission or a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. The CVT version is smooth and effortless, ideal for city commuting and relaxed highway cruising. The DCT version adds a bit more responsiveness if you actually want to feel something when you press the accelerator. Fuel efficiency across both variants is excellent. This car does not drink, it sips, carefully, like it's watching its budget, which, given the price point, feels appropriate. And that price point, this is where the Emgrand absolutely wins the argument. Starting around $13,000 in many markets and topping out well below what the competition charges for comparable specs, the Emgrand delivers Geely-level engineering, Volvo-adjacent quality culture, and solid everyday reliability for less money than almost anything else in the segment. That's not a small achievement, that's a real value proposition. The Emgrand isn't flashy, it isn't exciting, it won't make your neighbors jealous or start conversations at car meets. But it will start every morning, fit your family comfortably, sip fuel politely, and still have money left in your pocket for other things. And sometimes, often actually, smart beats flashy. All right, 3 cars, 3 completely different personalities. Let's bring it together and call it straight. Design goes to the UNI-V without much debate. It's the one strangers will look at twice in a parking lot. The Arrizo 8 is polished and mature. The Emgrand is safe and sensible. But if you want visual drama for your money, Changan delivers it. Interior quality goes to the Arrizo 8. It has the most premium feel, the most thoughtful features, and the most convincing attempt at luxury on a budget. It genuinely surprises you when you sit inside for the first time. Performance and driving dynamics. UNI-V again. It has the most tuned chassis, the most engaging steering feel, and the most honest attempt at making driving something you might actually enjoy rather than just endure. Value for money. Geely Emgrand, and it's not particularly close. You get global engineering standards, strong reliability record, excellent fuel economy, and real-world practicality for the lowest price in the group. Rational choice number 1. Best for daily use overall. Depends entirely on what you need. Arrizo 8 if you want comfort, space, and a car that makes you feel like you spent more than you did. Emgrand if practicality, economy, and long-term peace of mind are the priority. UNI-V if you actually want to enjoy the drive and look good doing it. None of these cars will embarrass you. All 3 will save you meaningful money compared to equivalent Japanese, Korean, or European options. And all 3 represent a Chinese automotive industry that has quietly, methodically, and persistently gotten much better at building cars. A few years ago, recommending a Chinese car felt like recommending a knockoff designer bag. Yeah, it looks similar from a distance, but there's always that feeling, that hesitation. You know the one. Today, that conversation is genuinely changing. These aren't perfect cars. They have quirks. Some of the technology feels over-engineered for its own sake. Some interior materials feel like they came from the budget parts bin. Software can be inconsistent. After-sales networks in many markets are still developing. These are real limitations worth acknowledging. But the design ambition? Real. The engineering progress? Undeniable. The value they offer? Exceptional. China isn't coming for the global car market anymore. It arrived, it parked, and it's asking if you want to test drive. If you want more comparisons like this, drop the cars you want to see in the comments below. We read them and we build episodes around what you actually want to watch. Hit subscribe if this kind of content is useful to you. No algorithm games, no padding, just cars and honest takes. See you in the next one.